Cool. All right, so welcome everyone to TNG Online Connect. So if you're not familiar with TNG Online Connect, the whole purpose of this is to obviously widen the audience of TNG to, nationally, right? Not just within your group, and also to bring some additional education elements to what you get from TNG. So getting guest speakers like Miranda and a ton of really well-respected and informative speakers across quite a wide range of topics. And that's just part of the TNG value add to your membership. So people in your group, definitely let them know about the TNG Online Connect sessions. So my name is Dan. It's not actually in my little name tag, so I would urge you to just add your name in and what your business is and a contact number, and then that will help. That will help other people in the session connect up with you afterwards as well. Welcome, Sharon. I think you've just joined in as well. So obviously, run of the session, so we'll have a 30-minute guest speaker slot, and that is Miranda De Plessis speaking today. Then we'll do a quick Q&A session, and then after that, we'll go into a quick wrap around the room so you can just introduce yourself and your business. So talking about our guest speakers, Miranda De Plessis. So we'll be talking about innovation, leadership, recruitment, and the team synergy, right? So if any of you have more than one person in your team, this is the session for you. So Miranda, in terms of her background, so she describes herself as a survival entrepreneur, which kind of fueled her determination to succeed. She built a law firm from scratch into a very successful business without hardship, though. Obviously, there's been some tough times in her life, and it's really taught her a lot about how to overcome, how to be resilient, et cetera, et cetera. So Miranda, please take it away.
Thank you. So I'm going to start with a screen share. Now, so are you guys good to see that? Are you?
We can see that.
Great, thank you for that. So you are a small to medium-sized business owner. The question is your business profoundly profitable? Now, what is that? That's a business that's financially exceptionally rewarding, as well as emotionally fulfilling. Do you feel energized when you think about your business? And what about your team? Do they love working together? Do they like working with you? Or don't you want to build a team because you've been burnt a few times? I'll show you today that there are no excuses for building your own winning team. We can do it no matter what we're given because of our Kiwi culture. So currently my team is 3 people. It's my business partner, Chris, Amanda. She's the operations and system genius, and we all work together to help you to build your team. I'll tell you in a bit exactly what we mean when we at RDL say a soul singing team, because that's after all our registered trademark. You might wonder about me, my skills and my experience. Why am I here today? Why am I called the team builder? And why are you giving me your precious time? So just a little bit about me. My family is my most important team. We immigrated to New Zealand, but I'm sure you never picked up on the accent at all. That's improved a lot since this 4-year-old is a little, all of them are little Kiwis. So I have 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and I have a New Zealand registered charity. And throughout my entrepreneurial journey and team building exercises, my hubby of 28 years is my biggest supporter. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more, not about hubby, but rather about my business story. So as Dan said, indeed, I was a survival entrepreneur with a newborn baby. And I opened my law firm on the day I became a lawyer and I had Anne, my first employee, right from the beginning. Because I knew I had to build a team that can run smoothly, even during my absence, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Just moving that. So in year 3, I had my third child. And my son wore a breathing monitor and everybody called him Robocop. Unfortunately, he had to wear that monitor because he had cot death syndrome. And for half a year, we were in and out of hospital. It went well after that. Year 6 was a really good year. By that time, I had a team of 12 people and they were exceptional. It was truly a humming business. But do note that it took us another 3 years after the previous quite a big setback with the son. But that was not as hard as the following. After that, on year 6, just thought we've been there, got the t-shirt, and then we had a sudden and really devastating setback that threatened to destroy all I have worked for. So what to do? You know about hard decisions. When did you have to make a decision that essentially boiled down to either give up or go on, even if you have to swallow a concrete pill to toughen up? So what happened? Year 6. I can't tell you how hard it was. We basically read on the front page of the newspaper that our biggest client, a bank, went bankrupt. It meant that we will not get paid for the work already done, and all future work was cut off. And that was a huge part of our income, not of our client base, but definitely of our income. So during the next 3 years, I took my team not only from struggling to survival, but at the same time, successfully scaling that business, and the company profit reached the multi-million mark, multi-millions, and the team of 12 grew to 42. So I built my profoundly profitable company, and you might wonder, how is that possible? Going from entrepreneurial survival mode to more than $1 million income when we had the 12 people, then totally down and out. And 3 years after that, back into a multi-million profit. And we've never had that before, even in the good times. The answer is really simple. I had a soul singing team. But how did I know in the first place to build a soul singing team? I was just a mother and a lawyer. So when I started, by the end of my first year of studies, I have had a family member who became very sick. It meant rushing to hospital at a minute's notice. It was especially hard the day I thought she died in my arms. We were in and out of intensive care for more than 5 years, never knowing when it's going to happen, but always ready to rush off to intensive care anytime, day or night. That's why I needed a winning team from day one. I thought it was simply common sense because it was the only thing that made sense in my unique circumstances. And now you know why my purpose of building soul-singing teams is wrapped up in my biggest pain. It's because of health issues of a loved one that I had the mindset to build that team who can function effectively without me, and I did so from day one. But having a tough business journey doesn't make me unique. what I achieved through my team, throughout my business, however, uniquely equipped me to help you to build your own soul singing team. Imagine having a team who stand by you through thick and thin, even when you're facing with a massive setback. Now, again, the question, how do you build a team? Here's the 3 pillars of a soul singing team, but it's deceivingly simple because I went through the depths of complexity to get to the height of the simplicity. I have the first-hand experience that these are the crucial elements of having that team, having your back, and they actually generate the income. But the most important about a profoundly profitable business is that it has to be very personal to your needs and your aspirations. So it's all about entrepreneurial leadership, team synergy, and profit innovation. And under the umbrella of entrepreneurial leadership, it's recruitment. That's just so important. And we'll look at that closer. And obviously energy management. And very important, you have to have that one song sheet where everything comes together. It's the strategy, the vision, the purpose, the value, the culture, but definitely also the transparent accountability. And then, Dan, you will really appreciate this. And it's the M3 system. And it's not the sticky notes, it's the money-making machine. This is where the rubber hits the road. So it's that repeatable and predictable execution engine. So let's start with the end in mind and just look at profit innovation. So profit innovation is basically what Apple does and what Steve Jobs taught us through IDEO. It's nothing new, but when I did it, I didn't know that was what it's called. I didn't know about that methodology, and basically it's validated by design thinking, and it's purely this human-centric approach where you don't stop there, but also add the analytics to it. And profit innovation is powered by team synergy. It's where not only the leader look after the profit, but actually the whole team. And scarcity is really the springboard, because ultimately it's about that can-do Kiwi attitude with doing far more with far less. And for that, it's really, really important that you have a scarcity mindset, obviously abundance, and now you're going to grow the team. And your, sorry about that, and your business. So, guys, my voice is not helping me at all. Sorry about that. So basically, team synergy is the cornerstone. And with team synergy, you have this beautiful dance between the team is unified. It's that one song sheet. But at the same time, they're so diverse because of their diverse skill sets, genius zones, that they can work together and achieve a result that's far more than their individual efforts. And it's like that quote of Truman. It's quite astonishing what you can achieve when you don't care who get the recognition for that. So a huge part of leadership is energy management. And people sometimes say, emotions, it's a bit hard, that fluff stuff. Oh, that's not our cup of tea. It's simple. It's about energy management. Nothing good, nothing proactive, Nothing valuable moves or happen without energy. So it's that physical energy, that's the quality of our energy. It's the emotional quantity, it's the emotional, that's the quality, and it's the mental, that's our focus, and it's the spiritual, that's the force. And that's where you align your values with your life so that you make sure that that's absolutely aligned, because that's often where we totally miss the target. So in saying all of this, what do we actually do? We help small and medium-sized enterprises with their recruitment. We do some team synergy coaching where we work with a whole team, and profit innovation consulting. So with recruitment, there's a lot of pain and not doing recruitment right. And we all know we need the right people on the right seats on the bus. And if you don't have that, it's so hard, because not only do you set yourself as a leader up for failure and make it extra hard, but also that new employee. So we've come up with, we've just really have this urgency of helping especially the very small companies with their recruitment, because many of our clients have never used a recruitment company before, and we are our first time that they're using an agency. So how do we do it? Basically, small companies with less than 20 employees get 50% discount on our recruitment fees. What does that mean? That means 1 month's salary. If that's too much for you, then my question to you is, how do you plan to pay this person's salary if you can't pay us? 1 month's salary. What our clients love most is that half of the fee is payable on the 3-month work anniversary, but only if that employee is still employed. No questions asked as why they left. Say, for instance, they left because hubby got a transfer to another town or country. Doesn't matter, you're not paying half of the fees. So let's just take a closer look at why you would use RDL at all for your recruitment. The biggest advantage is that our brand attracts exceptional candidates. And when we advertise mainly on Seek, there's no mention of who you as the small business are. So we follow a process. The candidates really trust us, and we become your brand advocate. And during this rigorous process, when we are quite sure that this is a suitable candidate, then we reveal to them who you are. Otherwise, they're just going to look on your website and see who you are, and they're going to pitch to us exactly what they think we would like to hear. And that's quite important. Oh, the counter offers, you can imagine how that's going at the moment. So we manage those counter offers from day one. We make sure that when that counter offer comes, it's not if it's going to come, it's going to be there, that everything is in place for our process to still move forward to offer stage. The three of us, Chris, myself, and Amanda, we're all working together on your recruitment assignments. And basically, we're really becoming your team, your partner in building your team. And that's reflected in the way we structure our fees. Now, unfortunately, there was one role that we could not fill, and that was for an auto mechanic. It's a little bit like when my clients ask me to fill roles for tradies, I go, oh, that's so hard, but we still make it happen. I'm thinking of an example the other day where one of the applicants for a trades role, basically he said that he can't lift 20 kilos. He marked no. And for that role, you're just not going to do the job if you can't lift 20 kilos. But we don't leave any stone unturned, and that didn't make a lot of sense for us. He is in the similar role, so why can't he lift 20 kilos? So obviously we picked up the phone, still talked to him, and basically when I asked him, can't you pick up 20 kilos? He laughed. He said, of course I can. How will I be able to do my job? And I said, oh, so that was just literally a finger fault. And that is one of the ways how we just really attend to all the details and take our time to do the recruitment well. So what's the trick? The trick is we also have to live, and I just talked about profit innovation, which means every step of the way, you make sure you're not at a loss. So how we make sure we're not at a loss is that we ask an upfront 1,500 non-refundable deposit. And we only work on exclusive recruitment assignments for 10 days. That means you only come to us when you're not working on that assignment anymore. No other agencies, not your friends. Even if your best friend apply, you're still going to send them to us after you've paid the deposit. Then, as said before, 3-month anniversary, half of the fees and the other half minus the deposit is payable on the first day of work. Obviously, when it comes to recruitment, there's many ifs and buts and maybes, so definitely full T's and C's apply. So that's all good. So what's the next step? How will we connect? The first step is just a telephonic meet and greet so that we can decide whether we're a good fit to work together, because we are truly selective with our clients. And then when we agree that we're a good fit, because obviously it goes both ways, I will visit your office or your site to meet you and your team and take a detailed brief. Again, then we will decide whether we proceed or not. Then the client will sign a client agreement, and nothing happens before we have 3 things. The deposit is paid, we have a job description, and we have a employment agreement, because we don't want to be later on find, oh, there's a little thing in your employment agreement that's nagging and that's going to hamper the offer. So that is what we can do for you, and we make it really easy for you to talk to us, because our telephone number is 0800 0801. That's all from my side. Open for questions.
Awesome. That's amazing, Miranda. Thank you so much for sharing. No doubt there's some growing teams part of TNG for sure. What I'll do is I'll just get you to stop screen sharing so we can see. There we go. We had a few extra people join in on the call while you were chatting, so welcome to those people. So firstly, questions, obviously, for Miranda. Does anyone have a question?
I've got a question. And so with the team synergy coaching that you do, is that quite separate to your recruitment? That's
Melanie,
the first
yeah.
question. So, and if so, where do you start with that? Do you start with the leadership, or do you start with the team, or do you start with the finance? Because I'm kind of intrigued on where you would actually start that kind of process.
Melody, really good questions. We have clients that exclusively use us for recruitment, some only for leadership recruitment, because that's the one thing where we are absolutely exceptional. And then with a team synergy, it basically, we start with a leader just to make sure that they are okay with the process that we're going to follow, but we jump right in and work with the whole team immediately. And how we do that is we have a team meeting, and then we say, these are the rules going forward. And obviously, very simple to say, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. Do you agree? Hard part is to get every single team member's commitment, recommitment with every single meeting. From there, we explain to them just how it works, and then we have individual team member meetings. And basically what it boils down to is, it's not secret service. Tell us what makes you really upset, what do you love doing, and what leaves you neutral. Before the PM stole my traffic light system, that's what I used, because it was devoid of emotion, not the case anymore. So I used the emotional bank. Now, a whole lot about the energy management. And we explain that to them. What basically increased your energy bank, what depletes it, and what leaves you neutral. Then Chris and I have one-on-one with the team members, and we basically guide them to sort that out. And then they come back and they present to their team, the whole team, who they are. And it's amazing. We've had family members working with one another for more than 15 years that didn't know some of the things about the other team members. Does that answer your question?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And I guess that leads to do you have an ideal client size, or do you work with one-man bands and larger businesses?
Definitely with the one-man bands, and I get goosebumps as I'm saying it, because the hardest recruit is that first employee. It is absolutely crucial to lead the owner from being self-employed to being the leader of the team, and to get their mindset right. So we do that with the recruitment, with the teams. Our teams is as small as Team Synergy work, 3 people. Again, the smaller, the harder, because there's no way to hide. If you're 12, there's still place to hide. Our ideal client, however, is we already have 12 employees. They are in the above $1 million income. Yeah. And they want to move to the multi-million profit and become from small to medium-sized business that is above 20.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Miranda. Malcolm, you had a question?
Hi, Miranda. Thanks very much. Very interesting presentation. Where's the ROI for the business owner? How's it typically measured? I.e., in increased retention rates, longevity in the relationship, business profit improving. I'm getting to the kind of the the sharp end in terms of if you were going out to the market and saying, look, we all know the pain of staff. I think everybody here on this call would understand that it's all about people, and mostly about the 5% that are problem children from day to day. But if you were selling this to a prospective client, how would you show the return on investment?
Malcolm, I really appreciate that, because that's the one thing that I didn't answer as part of the ideal client question from Melanie. Our ideal client is the client where we are pretty sure we're going to improve their profit margin with at least 10%. Just for the sake of some of our members that might not know what I mean with profit margin, that is where you say at the minute when we come in, you're making 15% on your million, so your profit is 150,000. Our first step is not to do more of the same that's growing, but rather to increase that profit on the current million with 10% to 250,000. So yes, we're very serious about emotional well-being, but we don't do that just for the sake of being nice and having, oh, it's so great to work here. At the end of the day, it's about profit innovation and doing more with less, which means more profit. And you get that from your team. So we're basically in that team synergy. If we work on long term, it's basically the team starts to profit innovate. I think of an example of a Kiwi company that's already 10 years old, and you'll appreciate that you don't have that growth anymore in a 10-year-old company. Had only 2-3 employees, and they were about to employ another consultant fee generator. And I suggested, no, we need to employ a facilitator so that we can get team synergy working instead of silos of income generators. Now you can imagine a support salary against a 150,000 salary, that's less than half of the salary, and at the same time, within just about 18 months, we increased the income with 300%, and the profit was far more.
Can you just give an indication of the improvements that somebody might get from your engagement through improved staff retention rates, so lower turnover and perhaps longer relationships with staff?
Basically, it changes into a company where people love to work together. And we all know that's why people stay. And it's literally, at the moment, it's like, people, you need to get us in, because instead of trying to recruit when your people left, rather get us in before they leave so that you can have that staff retention. And that is one of the biggest benefits, short of obviously the profit improvement.
Cool. Thanks, Miranda. A question: what are some tips for business owners to help them decide when they need to hire?
The biggest, for small businesses, it's as simple as, do you have a few months' salary in the bank? That's the first thing. You have to have the money to pay the salary. And especially if you're self-employed, that is a hard thing to do because you're not used to that. You're used to, oh, maybe you pay yourself, maybe you don't pay yourself. And the other thing is you have to be very, very clear on this role and what you expect of this person. And if you have all of that sorted out, then yes, definitely it's the time for you to recruit, especially if you can. Obviously, when you start, you recruit for support. But the sooner you can move out of the scenario where you recruit only support staff, but rather to recruit income generators. So it depends on when you are at in your own growth phase. So it's either going to be support, or as soon as you can, start to employ the income generators.
That's good. Probably carrying on from that question, a lot of businesses, when they are trying to hire, they kind of need a person who can fit multiple roles, because they, when you're a single business owner, you do everything. So naturally, you look for someone who can also do everything. So what are the pros and cons of actually going out there and looking for a unicorn role? So just, being super specific, I need this, 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 and this, but they're not necessarily all part of the same role.
We get that a whole lot. And basically, so the big question is, so how are we going to get a candidate to accept an offer like that? And it's basically you're part of a growing team. And the unique situation that you're in, being the unicorn, the first, is you can carve out the role. And as the company grow, which we hope is going to happen, you're very conscious along the way that you're really good at the numbers, but you don't like that something else so much, the direct client contact. And initially, even when we start a business, you simply have to do it all. And that's the same in that first role. And it's often a huge opportunity, either for someone that's young and they don't have that much experience, because really you get great youngsters out there that can do so much, or the return to work mother. They can do so much, but they just need that first opportunity again to get back into the market.
Perfect. Well, that's definitely helpful. I muted myself there by mistake. So is there any other questions from the team here? Otherwise, we'll just do a quick wrap around the room. Perfect. Well, hey, thanks so much, Miranda. Once again, the video will be online. So if you want to go back and relearn some of the top tips and helpful advice that was shared today, those videos will be uploaded to the TNG YouTube channel. So what we'll do now is we'll just do a quick wrap around the room and just introduce yourself. Tell us briefly what you do about your business, and then we can get on with our weekend, which is coming up, which I'm very much looking forward to. So what we'll do is, Helen, you're the top left of my screen and you're unmuted. So perfect. Let's go.
Right. I thank you very much for the presentation. It was interesting. My business is Kenneth 2021, and my focus is on value in the business. And I'm beginning to receive comments from other people to say, oh, that's interesting, because they hadn't thought about that as where businesses should be going. And there's a lot of value in business that's not tapped. So if anyone's interested, please let me know. That's Helen at Kenneth 2021. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen. Tanya.
Cool. Hey, thank you so much for that presentation. Really insightful there. So I run my own business in social media marketing and strategy. It's Socials with Tanya on Facebook and Instagram. Just a startup at the moment, but yeah, so focusing on small businesses, helping you with your online marketing, your social media strategy, and really helping you develop that growth online. So if you are interested, my phone number is above. And yeah, we've got some limited spaces available at the moment. So yeah, that's me.
Cool. Thanks, Tanya. Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon Cowie from SJK Accountants. We work with small to medium business owners. We're finding we're doing a lot more support now with small businesses or quite niche businesses, and we're getting more involved in processing their Xero file and really being a lot of conversations with them about how business is going and where they're at. So we're not just doing sets of financial statements, which works for me because we do a lot of that, but it's a very process-driven system. It's lovely to make a difference in businesses, and you make more difference when you have more conversations. So if you know anyone that needs assistance with their accounts, tell them to give us a call. We're happy to talk to them.
Thanks, Sharon. Mark, what do you do? Start by unmuting yourself, though.
You can tell I don't do online much anymore, can't you? Don't even remember to unmute. What do I do? What I've been doing in the last few months is actually assessing what staff have been bringing to the table in business across a couple of businesses, and making decisions on whether those staff are profitable and whether they're actually part of the team, Miranda. And in the several cases that I've specifically been dealing with them, none of them have been, I would call it COVID, they've become COVID casual. So they've become very turn up and do all those sorts of things. So Dan, that's what I've been doing. I've been dealing with staff, and poor Melanie is having to do the re-recruiting. So she would have been listening to Miranda with a great amount of enthusiasm. But I am the co-owner of the networking group with Melanie, and alongside of that, I run renovations and maintenance. I'm a franchises across the North Island of New Zealand. So we have two businesses, one that is absolutely booming that we can't get any product for in the construction industry. And we have a networking business where we've probably got at least half a dozen, maybe 10 people that want to open groups across New Zealand. And we can't do that because we've got this little Omicron thing that is spreading like wildfire. So that's what I do.
Cool, thanks. Thanks, Mark. Malcolm.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for the preso, Miranda. It strikes a lot of chords with me because it's people focused. I work as a business coach with BSP Group in New Zealand. We help business owners get clarity on why they're in business, which might sound like a rather strange question, but it's one that they should be really clear around because it tends to guide their decision making. Secondly, we help them get the big picture plan together. And we work with people like Sharon in terms of who has all of the financial wherewithal, if you like, to make sure that the plan is fiscally responsible, etc. And then we help them implement that plan, basically is what we do. Guys, there are three reasons people tend to engage with us. One is that they don't have cash in their business. And Karen, you would know, Sharon, you would know, there's lots of people who are profitable, but not necessarily can't find cash. Secondly, they're not making enough profit in their business. So they're looking at the return on investment and the amount of time they're putting in and it's not working for them. So that's the second key pain point. And the one which actually tends to drive most of the inquiry with businesses owners is how to put the business back in its box as a part of their life and get their life back around it. How many small business owners work for less than a wage, but work for 60, 70, 80 hours a week, which is absolutely not necessary. So that pain point is something we try to address. So my ideal client is somebody who has any one or all three of those problems. And yeah, I'm Malcolm with Business Success Partners.
Thanks, Malcolm. And Helen McDermott, if you're there. Yeah.
Hi, sorry. My name's Helen McDermott. I'm a solicitor at Righteous Law. I belong to the T&G group at Sylvia Park. I practice in mostly litigation, but our firm does do a full service law firm and we can handle any types of legal assistance that anybody requires. And thank you guys so much for organising these talks. It was very interesting. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Helen. Right, so there is me. Thanks, Malcolm, for joining. I think you're getting off. But I run Ingot, which is a digital design studio. So we primarily work in the brand and web space. So around the creativity, around building a brand, building a story, and then how to represent that on an online platform. So obviously, one part of that online ecosystem, you've got your social media, your copywriting, it all comes into play. But the website is really, in my opinion, it's kind of where you're driving all your traffic to. So it's a key part of that business funnel and helping businesses improve their functionality, make their website a tool that they can both find useful, but also like work on and develop themselves, so have a bit of ownership over that space as well. And we love the creative aspect, so designing some epic websites that really help you set you apart from your clients. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're in the office, and we're probably going to be outgrowing the office soon because we're too busy. So very apt on topic chat from you, Miranda. And I've probably had a few more years to hide my accent. I'm actually South African as well, so I can speak Afrikaans. We can have a proper conversation. But it's been awesome having you on the call today, Miranda. Obviously, these sessions are going to be every fortnight, so same time, 10:30 on a Friday, and we've got some epic speakers lined up. So please tune in next week or fortnight as well for the next session. But otherwise, thanks everyone for joining. And if you need the session, it is online. Will be on the YouTube channel as well, which no doubt can get sent out by Melanie. Perfect. Well, hey, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time, and go well into the weekend ahead.
Nice to see you all. Hello,
Thank
Sharon
you, guys.
Cowie. Sharon Cowie.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Miranda.
You're
See
welcome.
you guys. Bye.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.